Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk to you about the harsh reality of selling on Fiverr. And this is coming from someone who's make like a decent and respectable amount of money. This is when I started in March 2020. And I've done, quite a few good amount of money, as you can see here, like all pure profits and whatnot. And I've been speaking a lot about the good and the benefits and how amazing Fiverr is. However, it's all not gold and roses. You know what I'm saying? So let me explain you quite a few things because the very first thing you need to keep in consideration is that there is a lot of competition on Fiverr. This can be very discouraging for people, especially when they're starting out. I've been talking about that the competition on Fiverr, it's quite not good. So it's very easy to be outstanding. But the reality is that there's a lot of people on Fiverr. So for example, let's try any service, for example, video editing. Let's see how many people can pop up on this service. Okay, so there is 39,000 results. So this can be a little bit discouraging for people when starting out because they could be like, hey, but why would someone purchase from me? You know what I'm saying? So it's quite discouraging when you're starting out, but it's because most people don't understand how the platform works. But yeah, this is like honestly the harsh reality. There's a lot of competition. They're not good competition. It's very easy to be outstanding with this marketplace, but that's the reality. There's a lot of people. The second thing you need to be keeping in consideration is like it's a slow game and it can take you weeks or months. You know what I'm saying? Because like popping up on the first pages is pretty much the name of the game. That's where you will start seeing like a lot of traction and making like these type of amounts of money. You know what I'm saying? Like over $10,000 a month and so on. But it takes time. You know what I'm saying? Even to get to your first client or prospect, like it can take weeks and months. And this is very natural because again, you need to be thinking about like if there's like a lot of people offering the same amount of services, like why would they keep give you a chance? You know what I'm saying? The thing here is like Fiverr, like recently they started to give like chance to new sellers, so it's much more easier for them to start getting some traction. But you need to be on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the competition is quite high and it's a little bit of a slow game. However, as I was telling before in my other videos, it's like a snowball effect because once you gain momentum, Fiverr start pushing your gig into the marketplace as long as you're performing well. You know what I'm saying? But this is not like something to like get rich quick and whatnot. This is actually a real business that you're building, but it can take time. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like I did around $10,000 within my first 3 months, but that doesn't mean that just because I did it, you're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I was very good at selling, and I did quite a few things that I've been teaching on my other videos how I did it. But the reality is that it can be a little bit of a slow game. You know what I'm saying? Because for example, I think I started my account in Feb 2020, so I didn't got any sales, and then by March I get one, and then boom, snowball effect. So I mean, was it worth it for sure? But still, something you have to be keep in consideration because it's the reality. This is pretty much the reality, and we have much more to talk about. For example, we have here customer support can be crap most times, and this is something that annoys me the most because I've been like dealing with hard buyers and all that stuff, like they were canceling orders for any reason whatsoever, and sometimes it's annoying because they don't tell you what's going on. You ask them for support for anything and they're not responsive. They give you like predetermined templates and whatnot, so you don't feel like you're speaking with a real person. So honestly, customer support can be annoying in a lot of times and you can be felt alone. You know what I'm saying? That's also the reason why I'm creating my community and everything, because I understand the struggles when starting out and you can feel alone. I felt alone for the longest time because I wasn't sure why things happening. They flagged my account, they gave me some warnings, and they cancel orders out of nowhere. When I asked for a reason why, they were not able to tell me why. So it's very very discouraging and it's very very annoying. Because it's like if they don't help you, nobody's gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like at the mercy of what customer support will tell you. So that's a little bit annoying, to be honest. It's not very annoying. Once you understand how Fiverr works and the game, it becomes easier. But when you're starting out and you don't know the ins and outs of the business, you can be felt like feeling like very very alone. Also, we have here like you need to be very good to be consistent, and I'm telling you this because this is not consistency. Let's go to 2021. Even although I was making a lot of money, this is not consistent. It took me a while to realize that you need to be very good in order to be consistent, because consistency doesn't come just by making sales. You know what I'm saying? By pretty much closing clients. Consistency come from buyer satisfaction. So you need to be making sure that you're also providing good service. So the reason why I got these huge drops is because I was not providing as much as of a good service as possible, because there's a lot of competition. So you have to be very good relative to your competition. If you're competing against 40,000 people, you need to be taking in consideration there's going to be like quite a few people on these 40,000 people that will be providing very good service. You need to be competing toe to toe with them. So it's not easy, but you learn over time. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a little bit discouraging because some of the like for example here, let me give you an example. I was making a lot of money, and then it hits your ego when you're not making as much money again, and then you start like, okay, you go back again, and then low, and okay, back again. It can be a little bit discouraging. So you have to be very good in order to be consistent, because I've seen a lot of time, like for example, it's not cool when you're earning a lot of money and then you're 1, 2, 3 months without any income. Like for example, let's say 2022, I think it was one of these. Like for example, this, like I was not making any money, and then up again to 20K and all that stuff. So it was quite tricky. But you need to be very good. This is when I started to understand what's happening, because I enrolled to what is called the Fiverr Seller Plus, which they gave me a success manager, and that person really took my level up, because I understood things that customer support were not telling me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was now actually able to talk to a real person through FaceTime and all that stuff. Not FaceTime, like Zoom calls. So that gave me like a huge competitive advantage. But but like, you need to be very good in order to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? You need to have like the proper information in order to make it consistent. But once you achieve consistency, that's when you feel free. That's when you earn a lot of money and you have full control over your business. But yeah, like, you need to be very good. Like, this is not something that just because like I mean, a lot of people expect that but buyers just gonna purchase from you. Like, this is you need to understand how Fiverr works. It's a matter of having like a good service that is on demand, knowing how to sell, and offering good service as well. Also like be competitive with prices and having a good offer and all that stuff. And I'm not saying like competitive prices, like you don't have to lower your price point. You just have to have like a good offer, because like there's a lot of people, like, contrary to widespread belief, Fiverr has a lot of high quality set of buyers. There's people spending a lot of money on Fiverr, but people are not aware of it. They're just like trying to compete with prices, $5, $20 services. Like, no, go above $100. You know, but also there's more stuff coming. So they are gatekeeping information. What do I mean with gatekeeping information? Like, it took me 5 years in order for me to realize why I was successful. Well, not 5 years, 4 years. But it was not until then that I realized why I was successful. That's why I was never like teaching this stuff, never talk about it, because I thought I was lucky. And because how can I teach something if I had like a lot of months where I was not making any money and stuff? And it was like, what's happening? Even although I was like making like a respectable amount of money, like, it was like I never understood what was happening. I thought I was blessed by the algorithm and whatnot, but it was not the case. So it took me a while, because like customer support not gonna tell you. They have like this new thing called the success score. Like, it's not gonna tell you. It's not as accurate as possible. Because like there's things that are marked in my success score as negative, and I'm 100% confident that it's not negative, because of the fact that I keep track of all the metrics, like no order cancellations, buyer satisfaction is very good. Like, of course, like, there can be like exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, I know that my service been outstanding. So sometimes it's not as accurate, and sometimes little things can drop. And when you ask like, hey, what's happening, like, I have all 5-star reviews, I'm delivering on time, like everything seems to be good, they won't tell you what's the reason why. It's like, oh, it's some internal metrics that we cannot disclose and all that stuff. If you ask Fiverr support or even the success manager, they're not going to tell you that. And it's a little bit stressful, because this is your business and you want to have full control over your business. And I've been like very hesitant with Fiverr telling me that, hey, yo, what's happening, this is my business. Like, you cannot tell me, I mean, you cannot gatekeep information from me, because I'm trying to deliver better service for Fiverr in order for them. Because if I deliver good service to Fiverr buyers, then more people are gonna increase their trust worthiness of the platform, therefore it's gonna be attracting more buyers and all that stuff. So you need to help me helping you. You know what I'm saying? But they gatekeep information. Because I was like, why am I having these drops? Why am I having these drops? You know what I'm saying? I didn't understood, because you might be thinking like, oh, he was getting 1-star reviews and everything. I didn't got like 1-star reviews. This was not the reason why I was like dropping. This was not the reason why I was like getting these drops. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I was clueless. I was like, how come I've been like so many months without, people reaching out to me, and they didn't tell you. And of course, 5-star reviews, everything delivering on time. So it's very, very stressful. And that's the reality. Honestly, that's the reality. Like, that's why now, again, I emphasize I have the confidence of teaching this, because I've been through these situations and I went back many times. You know what I'm saying? So now I understand why these things happen. But it was like a matter of conclusions, like speaking multiple times with customer support, with my success manager, and also asking very specific questions with which they want, like disclose information, but I can come with my own conclusions. So that makes a huge difference. So that's that's super annoying, but that's the reality of it. They also have here, you have hard manipulative buyers, which is very tricky because sometimes like you have to understand the Fiverr is based on a review system, so you don't want to get like one star reviews, two star reviews, because like that will increase decrease the trustworthiness of your service, right? And sometimes you have like buyers that will be requesting more than what they paid for, or otherwise they will pretty much threaten you in order for them to give you like a one-star review, so you're always at the mercy, not always, like every now and then you will be like, especially when you're working with many clients as I was doing, and scaling up to 10 figures, 10 figures, 5 figures. That's when things become tricky, because you will have like very very hard buyers, because for example, for every 50 clients I was working with, there was like one or two clients that will pretty much like make my whole week a mess, you know what I'm saying? Because you have like your structure and you're working like very peacefully, and like you can handle many clients. But these two clients, for example, that are hard, can take you a lot of time, because they're like manipulative, and also like they're just hard buyers in general, because for example they ask for a lot of revision, like, oh, I don't like this, can we change this, can we change that, can we change it? And you have to always keep them happy, because you don't want to earn that those one-star reviews, because for example most of the people who are here on the top pages, like probably they won't have like little to no one-star reviews. Let's see this guy. Yeah, just one-star reviews. Like honestly, most people won't leave you a negative review, and that's the reality as well. Like most people don't leave negative reviews, but there's quite a few of them that they do, and this could decrease the trustworthiness of your gig, especially when you're like working, competing with many people. So for example, let's try this one. Has like a lot of orders. Let's see how many one-star reviews has. Okay, he has 12, but look, he has like 2,500 five-star reviews. So you don't want to give like yourself the chance to give them like many, especially when starting out. Like when you have like a lot of orders, yeah, it's okay like having one, two-star reviews every now and then, because that will make everything much more legit, because like when you have full five-star reviews and better reviews, like people might think that, is this legit? They think, a lot of people, I talk with many clients, they think that it's fake, and it's like, no, it's actually the reality. So sometimes it's good to have like one-star reviews, because also you have the chance to respond to them. For example, you can also like justify what happened. So for example, these guys say like awful experience, while the edits themselves were on the spot, whatever, like. And I've spoke with clients of mine, and they tell me that this is one of the things that they appreciate the most, how we reply to the negative feedback, what I'm saying, because that keeps professionalism. But a lot of people mess it up, and they just like, no, this was the worst, the buyer is very bad. Like you always have to keep yourself professional. That give you like a huge advantage. So don't be too stressed about it. But yeah, sometimes it's very hard, because you have to be at the mercy of the buyers. Otherwise, they will leave you a one-star review, two-star reviews, and you don't want to harm your reputation. So that couldn't help. I mean, that could be harming your mental health. For me, it was super stressful, especially when I was just freelancing. That was before I actually start hiring people. But when I was just freelancing, oh my God, like it was a huge stress working all the time, because even although I can handle many clients, it was at the point where I had to work on one specific order for a lot of time, because of many revisions, the client wasn't happy. And then eventually, perhaps even canceling orders. That's the worst, when you spend like a lot of time eventually just to cancel the order, because you don't want to get like a negative feedback. But I mean, it's just the name of the game, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, as long as you're getting new clients, like you will make money. But sometimes this is a reality. Shit like this happen. You can do much about it. So you can either complete the order and perhaps like expect a one-star review or a low negative review, or you can take your chance, or you can just cancel the order, just take it as an L, like, okay, I lose time, but whatever, you feel me? So this is the way it works. Sometimes some buyers are very tricky with this. And also, one of the things that happen with these guys is like they cancel orders through chargebacks, so if they charge back your order, like they will refund the money, like Fiverr refunds them. So this is like quite annoying, because for me that was super annoying, because when you're working with many people, that stuff happens, and it's like, what the hell? But the good things is like Fiverr fight the chargeback. So usually I would say 70% of the times you will get your money back after a couple of months, because they win the chargeback. So that's a thing. And yeah, but like if you need the money right off the bat, it's very annoying, because they withdraw it from your balance. So yeah, it's annoying, but usually you get your money back as long as it's a charger. But yeah, stuff like that happens, and it's like, yo, what the hell? It's very annoying, especially when everything seems to be nice. A lot of people just take advantage of it. I've been working with many people, super happy and everything, and just like a month afterwards, 2 months afterwards, I just received like a notification that the order was canceled because of a chargeback, and I'm like, super annoying. But it's the name of the game. Like, But I'm trying to say, like, as long as you're making money, like, you shouldn't be focusing on those little things, honestly, because once you're like earning this amount of money, like one, two orders from a chargeback, it's like it's the name of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just the name of the game. So yeah, then we have here what we have here. Yeah, spams and scams. This is something I haven't not experienced much, but they say like new accounts does. So you will receive many messages and spams and scams. And I don't know how does this work, but like in your inbox, you will receive many messages of people who are not qualified buyers. They're not looking to purchase from you. They're just trying to do like weird stuff, like, hey, can you go through this link? And do weird stuff just to scam people. So you have to be careful with it. I don't have expertise on this because for some reason, like it doesn't happen to me often. Like it had happened to me before, but it just get mixed with like the amount of messages I get from my service. You know what I'm saying? Like people looking for my service. So this is not something that that should be like something concerning you. And also we have here chargebacks. I already talked about it here. So yeah, chargebacks. And we have here that it can become very exhausting, like pretty much become a privileged 9 to 5. So you have to be very careful with this because even although the whole idea here is to gain freedom and you can make like a lot of money to make freedom, like it can be a little bit exhausting, because you can end up working a lot, even more even much more than a 9 to 5. So it becomes like a privileged 9 to 5, because I remember those times when I was like freelancing just by myself. Like it felt like I was working all day. I was like a robot. Like like my biggest month, I think I was working with 200 clients in that month, and I was like 24/7 working, just hitting the gym, eating, working, hitting the gym, eating, working, like that. But eventually you lose track of time and everything, and of course, like everything is good as long as you're earning a lot of money. But I remember I was once thinking like, shit, like I'm making a lot of money, but if I actually wanted to take a vacation to go somewhere because I had the money to do it, I can basically do anything I want if I was earning that every single month. I would like, I can't afford it. I can't afford to do it because I have to be checking my phone. I have to keep track of my clients and everything. So that was super annoying. So you have to be very careful. However, just to finish this off, like this is the harsh reality, but there's always a solution to this. And let me explain you quite a few things because this is something that I've experienced, and this is a reality, especially when you don't have the information. So the reason why you will have these issues is because you don't know how to play. You don't know how Fiverr works and take advantage of it. So just to give you like a few examples, for example, let me give you like now the opposite side of things. You know what I'm saying? Because of course when you're starting out, you won't perceive this as positive or negative. You always be complaining. Like I was always complaining, and it's not a good frame of mind to be. You know what I'm saying? Because now once I understand how Fiverr works, I was like, oh, okay, now I can use this to my advantage. Now I won't complain when this thing happens. Just like everything, if you become like much more peaceful, and therefore you start attracting like better clients. So there's a lot of competition. Yes, there's a lot of competition, but guess what? Like your competition is trash. Like honestly, the competition is trash because I was telling on my past videos, it took me like 12 months to become the number one in my category in the programming and programming and tech category. I was like the number one within 12 months. That was like in January 2021, and it was because the competition was very low. So I was very good at selling. It was very easy to outcompete them because your competition, despite the fact there is like tens of thousands of services similar to you, it's very easy to outcompete once you know how to sell. So there's always an opposite benefit. You know what I'm saying? So for example, customer support can be crap most times. There's not much you can do about it, honestly. With this one, there's not much you can do it unless you know how things work. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm creating like the community. If you want to join, you can just feel free to join. If you have any questions, ask me any questions you want. But yeah, like that's the reality. You need to be very good and to be consistent. Like this is like your responsibility, right? So yeah, you can do much about it other than just be good. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to play the game, learn to provide like good buyer satisfaction, and learn how to sell. Also gatekeeping information, nothing we can do about it, honestly. Like you just have to come with your own conclusions or learn from people who know what they're talking about. I wouldn't say there's a lot of people that know how to play Fiverr very well, but there's quite a few very good ones in the game that are very legit. I've been in contact with them every now and then, and they're very good. Like I'm not the best guy on Fiverr making money. You know what I'm saying? There's people making much, much, much more money than me, and they're very good. I don't know if they're good at teaching, but I know that there's like quite a few legit people willing to to share information and help, because at the end of the day we understand the struggle. So about the manipulative buyers, you just need to be very careful, because now once you start like experiencing this, you can pretty much like predetermine who is a good buyer to work with, and you just select the people who will give like an easier time. And this is just a matter of communication. You know what I'm saying? Setting up expectations and bringing them with communication, that will make the whole difference. Spams and scams, just ignore them, be smart about it, learn it. Like, this is not something that should be concerning you as we speak, because this is not something that will give you like any actionable insight. Chargeback, you can don't do anything about it. Just trust Fiverr that pretty much they will be fighting for your chargeback. I've done this many times, so yeah, eventually they just receive my money back, and it can become very exhausting. But guess what? Like, Fiverr just announced this sounds like if I'm announcing something, but Fiverr has this stuff called Fiverr Go, which is pretty much your trained AI and Fiverr Teams account. This is not something that existed like last year. This is actually very new from the past couple months. So this is super helpful, because now you can train your AI in order to respond messages as if that person was you. You know what I'm saying? So this is super helpful. We reduce a lot amount of time, and also Fiverr Teams accounts, because now you can pretty much have staff members on your account. Meaning that they will have restricted access to certain things, and they will pretty much be able to respond messages from you, which will pretty much reduce a huge amount of workload. You know what I'm saying? Because like usually that was the main thing for me, that I was very exhausted. I couldn't enjoy the freedom I have today, because I was always working. Even although I have the money, I was always working and whatnot. Now Fiverr, as of just 2025, it just announced this, and it's been very good. Very has very good response from sellers. Still like in beta phases, so it's not like super optimized, to be honest. But this is something like has like a lot of potential, and will pretty much be a breeze for new sellers. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this video helps. I'm just telling you this because this is the harsh reality of Fiverr. Like, of course, there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of benefits about Fiverr, freelancing on Fiverr, but like this is just like the reality. Because yeah, I just received a comment in one of my videos, somebody saying like, hey, just don't sell the dream. Also, like, people want to know about the harsh reality. Now, like, that's true. Like, it's good to make a good video about it, because it's all about transparency. Because I can talk about the benefits of Fiverr all day long, because of course, like, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, at the end of the day, there's like a lot of things to be, as in any business model. Like, I've been trying many business models, and trust me, like, there's no business model that will be all just like a golden roses and all that stuff. Like, every single business model has its benefits and its opposite, equal opposite. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to pick the one that helps you best, and just move with it. Learn how to play the game. Learn how to play the game, and you will find, like, eventually, like, you can achieve freedom. Like, this was my vehicle for freedom. The lifestyle I live was because of Fiverr, and it's just the way it is. So I'm blessed about it, even although it's been like a love-hate relationship. It's been more of a love relationship as I start knowing more about how it works, like, which was like more like late 2023. That's when I started to play the game better. But before that, I was just at the mercy of, oh, what is happening, always complaining, like, oh, support is not helping me. But eventually, everything becomes much more easier. So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you want to join my free community, if there's a link, just join it. If there's not, maybe it's because I close it. So yeah, let me know, because I want to make sure I'm helping as much people as possible. Any questions, just ask with confidence. Like, don't be shy. Just ask a question on the comments, or if you want to make me a specific video on certain things, just let me know, and I'll be happy to make it. Okay. So peace for this one, and see you on the next one.